It's a very spooky Halloween, especially if you're Kamala, the ghost of Joe Biden haunting the Harris campaign.
Garbage I see floating out there is his supporters.
Democrats thought hiding Biden would keep him out of trouble, but for some reason, Binder handed Joe a laptop, and he somehow did more damage with it than Hunter.
I've watched Trump already seize this. The basket of deplorables was significant, was meaningful in 2016. In 2024, I can promise you that this is going to drive Trump turnout.
The media knows comments like this swing elections. USA Today says Biden's comment reminds us he has no business being president. Democrats were already wetting the bed before Garbagegate. Now they're pointing fingers at each other, and the election isn't even over. One anonymous Democrat member of Congress who's up for re-election says someone needs to park Biden out of sight until after the election. Other Democrats are grumbling that Joe should never have run for re-election in the first place. And the party shouldn't have crowned Kamala. They should have had a regular primary where someone more moderate could have been nominated. Democrats have stopped caring about tiptoeing around the big guy. One Democrat tells the New York Times, we're way past the need to be concerned about the president's feelings. If the Harris campaign feels the need to distance themselves, they should feel free to do so. But Biden isn't going down without a fight, and neither's Hunter. The first son, who's facing years in prison for tax and gun charges, is bitter that Kamala stole his daddy's job. Hunter says if Kamala doesn't win, it could be the end of America as we know it. Now, Hunter needs a partner. So if I were him, I wouldn't be getting on anyone's bad side. Just sell your paintings and lay low. Biden's people think Joe should be running. Or if he's not running, at least be campaigning with Kamala. He should be out there. The reason she's where she is because of him. Biden says, don't point the finger at me, point him at Kamala. And some Democrats already are. Obama's people are leaking that she looks really silly for not picking Shapiro. Would I want to have a beer with Walz? Absolutely. But let's face it, he wasn't a great choice. One Democrat says all the sniping, just Democrats trying to cover their asses and get a little ahead of Election Day. But really, they're just disappointed in Harris. They're admitting she has a messaging problem. And she keeps talking about Trump and not the economy, stupid. Oh, and Bill Clinton, not helping.
You did pretty well when I was president, and I think I'm entitled to my opinion about who'd be better. I don't think it's right to say that people have to vote for Donald Trump because the economy was better there. I don't believe that.
Bill just said Trump's economy was better than Kamala's. And this is a week after he said Laken Riley would be alive if the border czar would have done her job. The Clintons are like, if Hillary can't be the first female president, no one can. The vibes are off. Yesterday, Kamala got heckled at 3 rallies in a row. Watch.
Donald Trump's answer to financial pressures is for you to face the same deal. And I pledge to you, I will listen to experts. I will listen to those impacted by the decisions I make, and to people who disagree with me. An opportunity hey, you know what? Listen, we all want the war in Gaza to end and get the hostages out.
So the Democrat base is just as fractured as the party brass. How are they going to unify the country if they can't even unify themselves? Even Morning Joe is breaking down.
The hypocrisy, Mika, over a misstatement by Joe Biden, which he quickly corrected, is so laughable because this guy does this every day. And then you turn on Fox News and go, oh, how could anybody do this? I've never seen this before.
Seeing Trump put on a safety vest and hop in a garbage truck fried their noggins. Kamala grew up in a middle-class family, and Trump's the one in trucks and drive-thrus. It's got to be driving him nuts. She's campaigning with rich celebrities, and Trump's at the barbershop with cops and firefighters. What the hell happened to the Democrat Party? The Bidens have offshore bank accounts, and Trump's winning the union vote. The party of Hollywood can't even produce a moment, not a single moment. But Trump, the reality star, is directing his own blockbuster from the sidewalk, from the mugshot to the gunshot, from the McDonald's apron to the garbage vest. These are four of the most iconic pictures in presidential campaign history. And they all came from this campaign. Trump's dancing down the home stretch because the people are turning out.
Republicans have been registering voters in big, huge numbers. They have been gaining in party registration versus the Democrats in the swing states with party registration. We're talking Arizona. How about Nevada? Big Republican registrations there. They like the early vote. How about North Carolina? Big Republican registration gains. How about Pennsylvania? We spoke about it before a few months ago. Big Republican party registration gains versus from where they were 4 years ago. So the bottom line is, if Republicans win, come next week, Donald Trump comes next week, the signs all along will have been obvious. We would look at the right direction being very low, Joe Biden's approval rating being very low, and Republicans really registering numbers. You can't say you weren't warned.
The race is tight, but Democrats are anxious because black turnout's down, mail-in ballots are down, and Republicans are coming out strong for the early vote. You can feel the energy and the momentum in the air.
It reminds me so much of 2016, and I think there are a lot of similarities right now between this campaign and that campaign. The divisions in the country were significant back then. People didn't think Trump had a chance back then. I don't know who's going to win. However, the momentum is clearly, in what I see and what I hear, is in his favor.
And just like in 2016, the Democrats are running on hoaxes instead of their record.
New hoax alert. New hoax alert. New hoax alert.
So last night in Wisconsin, Trump said he wanted to protect women from migrant crime, whether they like it or not.
Kamala has imported criminal migrants from prisons and jails, from insane asylums and mental institutions all over the world, from Venezuela to the Congo, including savage criminals who assault, rape, and murder our women and girls. Anyone who would let monsters kidnap and kill our children does not belong anywhere near the Oval Office. And my people told me about 4 weeks ago, I was saying, no, I want to protect the people. I want to protect the women of our country. I want to protect the women. Sir, please don't say that. Why? They said, we think it's very inappropriate for you to say. I said, why? I'm president. I want to protect the women of our country. They said, sir, I just think it's inappropriate for you to say, pay these guys a lot of money. Can you believe it? I said, well, I'm going to do it whether the women like it or not. I'm going to protect them.
Kamala took this and twisted it.
They said, sir, I just think it's inappropriate for you to say. I said, well, I'm going to do it whether the women like it or not. I'm going to do it whether the women like it or not. 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 I'm going to do it whether the women like it or not.
Trump says he wants to protect women from migrant killers, whether the women voted for him or not. And Kamala's campaign says Trump's going to control women, whether they like it or not. It was almost as dirty of an edit as 60 Minutes. And it's going to incite Democrats to violence. Watch.
It's comments like he's going to take care of women whether they like it or not that just makes you clench your fist. It makes me clench my fist. I want to smack him across the face. He's not taking care of me or my body.
Would Democrat women rather be assaulted by migrants than protected by Trump? Because I'm having a hard time understanding the logic. If wanting to protect women is an insult, then you can kiss civilization goodbye. We don't have to invent insults around here. We can just listen to the Democrats talk. Mark Cuban just called Republican women stupid.
Donald Trump, you never see him around strong, intelligent women, ever. It's just that simple. They're intimidating to him. He doesn't like to be challenged by them.
The party that can't even define a woman is saying women for Trump are dumb. They say the smart ones lie to their husbands and secretly vote for Harris. And the real men lie to their friends about voting Trump. They say Doug Emhoff lifts women up and Tampon Tim's a man's man. And if you don't vote for Harris, you ain't black. The party running on solving problems and bringing the country together is calling the country dumb Nazi garbage who should lie to their friends and family. And this is after they lied to you about COVID, inflation, the border, and the president's mental state. This election is about who do you trust to take out the trash? A woman who has a record of making a mess, or a man with a record of fixing things? Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.